it's amazing at how many times, Pam, we've talked to people and they have added to our presentations of varieties, and they've given us great insight and great information. We are one community working together to support our children and our educators, because if we can't support our educators, then our children aren't going to get supported. So I am an educational consultant, and I do support the collaboration between schools and families, okay? And that is critically important. If we can build relationships, we can change lives. And there's so much information that I could share with you about changing lives, but we're going to focus on the one-page profile. School is starting for many, and there is a lot of stuff going on, as we all know. I thought I was very hopeful, as you all were, that we were starting a new school year without any concern for COVID, because there's the vaccines, or there's this and there's that. And I felt like that we were on our way, but we have variants now. We're not going to go into that. But anyway, a little bit about Lighthouse. Lighthouse has been around for a long time. It's named in honor of my sister, Laurie Lorraine Rettie, LLR.
Well, we're muted, right?
No, you're not
Good
muted.
here? No, here.
No, I'm not.
You're not muted, whoever you are. Love you, but you're not muted. Okay, thank you. You're muted. So Lighthouse is named after my sister, Laurie Lorraine Rettie, LLR, Lighthouse Learning Resource. She was born with a significant difference. I too had learning differences, still have them. And dyslexia, didn't find out till I was in my 40s when my youngest daughter was diagnosed. And it was like this aha moment, epiphany, like, oh, that's why I'm the way I am. And then in my 50s, I learned that I have hearing impairment. All of that led to anxiety. So throw in the ball of wax and there I am. But I love what I get to do and very grateful. So I want to share what I know so that your child can be supported. At Lighthouse, we have the Anchor Teaching Framework, which is a teaching about neurology of our brain. Why do we behave the way we do, and what can we do about it? We also offer different kits to support individuals, and that's all I'm going to say. It's all on my Sense of Science, and that is the Sense of Science. You don't have to go in and purchase a thing, but what it will do is provide to you some of the tools that you need to know about. And I am only about here to help you, just as Pam is. We've lived this world together, so separate but together. Separate paths, but together. Okay, so what is a one-page profile? Since I'm an educator, I just want you to know that as educators, we are incredibly busy, especially the beginning of the school year. You've got this new roster of children. You've got to read and know about each one of those children. We get what's called a cumulative folder or cumulative files about if we want to look at it, we can determine what this child's needs are. And, you know, the majority of students follow a typical path of development, but not everyone does. And just because everyone doesn't follow a typical path of development does not mean that they are less than. They are not. And in some cases, they're more than. So I want you to keep that frame in mind, is that we're going to talk about children that have these unique needs, but that doesn't mean that they're less than anybody else. So what is a one-page profile? So educators are really busy at the beginning of the year, or actually any time of the year. So what I get at the beginning of the year is the IEPs or the 504 and the general ed cumulative file. Like I can look back at first grade, second grade, third grade, and so forth, and determine the trajectory of this child's learning. All those pieces are given to me while I am attending staff development, trying to create my room And I have maybe 2 to 3 days to do that. So something's got to give. And typically we sit in staff development, frustrated that we can't be in a room getting our room ready. So when a parent, along with your child, everything I'm telling you right now, some of you have included your children, everything has to be done with your child. Just lay that out right out the front. Your child, this is your child's life. I hate to bring up tough stuff. We're not always going to be here. We need to empower our children. I hope if you leave with anything, that's what you leave with, is that you know that we're here to empower your child. So how do we do that? The one-page profile, very simple, quick summary of your child. Strengths, talents, needs, any other areas, medical, diet, whatever it might be. But you're not doing this one-page profile. And the links that I've given you at the end of this, and Pam, please share this PowerPoint. The links I've given you all talk about, most of them are from the United Kingdom. We don't have very many from US of people who have bought into this. But anyway, most of them are talking about the parent doing it for the child. I do not agree with that at all. Your child is able to learn about their challenges at a very, very young age, even kindergarten. My youngest, Jordan, has dyslexia. She's now 27. And she knew by first grade, I shared with her images of the brain, MRIs about the Broca's area, the left side of the brain that processes sound for reading, writing. I shared with her that that part of her brain was challenged. Didn't mean it was broken, didn't mean it couldn't be fixed. It meant it was a challenge. And it meant you're going to have to work harder. I was very forthright with her and showed her all the pictures and visuals I could find. We researched people who have the same challenges, like Walt Disney is an individual with dyslexia. And so we shared all of this. So this one-page profile, when you're doing it, that simple summary of who your beautiful child is done with, not for your child. They should be sitting with you when you do this. But why is this important to do? As educators, we are so busy. We get a ton of information at the beginning of the year. We get a ton of information all year long. And one of the things that we do get is many, many documents about protocols for the campus, protocols for the district. And if you're a new teacher, all that's coming in at you like a whirlwind. And then we're looking at textbooks. How do we plan our lessons and all of this? And how do I arrange my classroom and so much more? There is so much going on. And we only have a few days to do that because many of our days are taken up with planning. Well, so why is a one-page profile? It's a brief summary. I'm going to pick up that brief summary and I'm going to read it and go, wow, that's Matthew. That kid, and it's got his picture. That's really cool. Oh, Matthew does it. Oh, okay. And Matthew has an IEP and I'll be getting his IEP, but I know right now immediately what Matthew needs. And that's what's important. So the one-page profile is giving the teacher a quick insight of what's going on. And your responsibility is to create this now before the school year starts. And you're going to send it. I mean, many, like A-Leaf is already in school. There's other districts. You're going to send it to the educator or educators, depending on what grade level you're in. Middle school, you're going to have more than one educator. So you're going to send it out when and you email it. It's electronic. When you email it, your child is sitting with you. Who are your teachers? What is your class? What are your classes? Okay, so this is a constant dialogue of engaging your child. Okay, we're going to do this. So they're going to watch you with executive functioning and watch you planning, and they're going to work alongside of you. Will they do that willingly all the time? No. That's okay. It's still something you're going to continue to show. This is not easy, but it does work. So the child is going to help with writing that one-page profile. This is a template. You do not have to follow a template. You do have to follow some protocol, and we'll get into that, of what a one-page profile should look like. And each profile is going to look different. And I'm going to tell you what is the overall, what you should do with a profile. You need to make it easy to read. Less is more. So if you look on this side of this young boy, I just love this guy. This little boy's name is Felix. You look at Felix with his dog. It just quickly tells you some important information. Okay. This one right here is wonderful. I want to spend more time reading about this individual, but I don't have time. I don't have time. And so what I do is kind of skim that real quick. It doesn't stick in my mind as much as Felix will. I look over at, I think this is, I got to move this a little bit. Hang on. Ellie, she's all over. She's got a lot of, she's precious. This is wonderful, but what doesn't work is not, I can't remember that. I'm going to be honest with you. As an educator, I can't remember what doesn't work. Tell me what will work. That's all I need to know. And they have it over here. My suggestion is you eliminate some of these things. Some of the links I've given you are all about many things. I'm telling you from an educator, when we have less, I am able to digest Felix's information really quickly. And I have this visual of this precious child. Well, they're all precious, but, and I'm going to know, okay, Felix is coming in on Monday. And obviously Felix likes animals. I like animals. I'm starting to relate to Felix. And I know that there are certain things he can or can't do. His dog Buddy is his friend, things that he, it tells me some stuff about him. We're going to learn about how do we do the less. So specific details. Number one, your child learns by fully participating in making the profile. You can't expect yourself to do this. If I could, let me see if I can do a spread of all that's here. How many of you do your children know all of, how many of your children are on an IEP, an individualized education plan? Put it in the chat box, just say IEP, okay? And if not, put 504. How many have an IEP? How many have a 504? I just want to get an idea. I'll give you a minute to do that. Now we have 14 participants and only 4 have added. 5. Keep going, you guys. Come on. This is all about for you. That's just here for you. 7. Creeping up. So, wow. Okay. 504, mostly IEPs. Let me explain something. Somebody, and Sophia, I'm not picking on you or anything like that, but I just want you to know, if you need to email me later, you're more than welcome to. There's no way possible that you could have legally that you can have a 504 and an IEP plan. An IEP is an individualized education plan. It's supported under IDEA, Individuals with Disability Education Act. That is a very specific education law, federal law. Schools are mandated to interpret that law. They have some autonomy, in other words, some freedom to interpret how they will implement that law, but they are required to implement the IEP according to federal law. As a consultant, sometimes I find some discrepancies, but typically they're pretty close. 504 is not an education law. So those that you just checked in, an IEP is an education law under IDEA, Individuals with Disability Education Act. 504 is a civil rights law, meaning you cannot discriminate against anybody who has a disability, whether it's in education, a grocery store, or anywhere else. You cannot have both simultaneously. So something is amiss there. And Sophia, if you want to let me know, email me. My email's somewhere on here. And I will make sure that Sophia only has a 504. Okay. Now, thank you, Sophia. So what can happen sometimes too, depending on the actual needs of your child, that 504 is really what we call, those of us who are staunch educators or advocates, and I'm not any more of an advocate than you are, you advocate for your child. And I don't want to be identified as an advocate because I have 2 degrees in education. Many advocates don't have a degree in education. Not that they know what they're doing, but we just operate from different venues. But a 504 is kind of like a Band-Aid. It says, well, yeah, you have a disability, but we're going to say it doesn't really affect your educational need. But if your child continues to struggle with paying attention, completing tasks, or initiating a task, or with emotional regulation, or with social interaction, it may mean that you need a full, what we call formal individualized education evaluation, an FIE. And that FIE will determine if there is a greater educational need that would fall under the umbrella of IDEA, Individuals with Disability Education Act. Those of you that are in 504, please think and ensure that your child is getting what they need under 504. It is totally perfect to just have a 504 plan for those children who are quite capable, but have certain things that might derail them, and they can get by with just a few accommodations and support. Okay, they can get by. But if those accommodations and support have not been sufficient for a year, I would even go half a year, but I'll give the grace. We're in COVID, all that. If it's been more than a year and those accommodations and supports have not been sufficient, you need to request in writing, I'm requesting an FIE, a full individual educational evaluation, because there might be more things going on. That's another presentation, but it's better to know than not. When I was 50, early 50s, I had my own IQ testing done, and I was blown away with what I learned. I think it's great for all of us to know about how we learn. And this is not to find that somebody has a fault or a problem that can't be fixed. This is to find, wow, how do you learn? How does your brain think? What do I need to do to help you get there? And I just find it to be incredibly amazing. Thank you for the FIE. You're welcome. You're welcome, Sophia. So when we're doing the specific details of a plan, a one-page profile, we're going to fully include our children, really and truly. If your child is even in kindergarten or PPCD, you can tailor the participation to meet that child's needs. If your child is in high school, you can tailor it to fit their needs as well. They're going to, if they're in high school, eventually they're going to leave the nest. I have two that have left. And it's hard. You need to have assurance as the diligent, wonderful parent that you are, because you're here. You need to have an assurance that you have prepared them well. So if you have someone, one of your, oh, hang on, no, Willow, stop. I have my dog here. Anyway, she's a husky. She wants to talk. Anyway, if you are, Willow, come here. All right, let me call my husband. Hang on one second. I'm so sorry, you guys. I thought she was upstairs. Hang on. Wait.
I was just going to make an announcement instead of putting it in. If for some reason you were forwarded this information about the meeting tonight and it didn't come from us, please make sure that you email our office so that we have it for the future, and also so I can send you her PowerPoint. We don't request registration so that people can log on quickly and easily, but then it means we may have missed some of your emails. So I'm going to put our email in. And so again, if you don't think we have your email, please send it to me. Thank you.
Okay, so my husky is a rescue and she is ADHD. Seriously, she is. She will, we've all had our dogs. Thanks, John. She is an amazing little girl, but big girl, 65, 70 pounds. But when she starts that talking to all of us, she's not going to stop. So I just took her upstairs. Okay, so your child should fully participate, and there are reasons why. We want our children to know what's going on. As Jordan was when she was young, she knew what was going on in her brain. This is all brain-based, every bit of this. Our brains are emotional. Humans are emotional. There's a whole system that's going on at work, 3 different systems. It's the peripheral and central nervous system, and it is the limbic system and the sensory systems. But regardless, your child should know about what's challenging them. If they go along and think, why am I always in trouble? Why are people having meetings about me? And I don't know why they're having meetings about me. And somebody's giving me medicine and I don't know why. That is further challenging that child. A child feels like something must really be wrong with me, that everybody's meeting about me and talking about me, and I don't know what's going on. So when you do this one-page profile, this is your moment. This is this glorious, glorious moment to bring your child in and say, we're going to talk about you. You are so important to this world. And they are. Every child is. You are so important to the world. And mom and dad, or if you're the caregiver or the grandparents, we cannot be more grateful that you're here. But have you ever noticed that sometimes other people seem to, you tell me sometimes you're getting picked on, and maybe it's because you're not regulating your body as you should, right? And that's okay. Many people do that. There's many people that have this challenge too. You're not alone, and we're going to help you learn about that. So the child fully participates in the profile. So if you have a 504 plan or an IEP plan, that is brought up. So those of you that kind of have your child hanging around, if you want to bring yours out, fine. We're not going to look at it, but we're going to talk about it. So the child in this, if I'll back up just real quick, in this profile is going to choose their own photo. We don't want to choose it for them. What's going to make them happy might not be what you think should be. But if a child can articulate a real reason why they want that picture, that's what's going to be. Because we're going to build esteem. We're not going to say, oh, I don't know, I like that picture of you, but you know what, William, really, I like this one better. Let's put this one in. No, William, you made an incredible choice. That really does show who you are. I love that you made that choice. So we're choosing the photo to build this esteem. This also teaches your child to self-advocate. The more I know about myself, the more I can speak up about myself. I have ADHD, I have autism, I have anxiety. Give me a moment, please, to process this information. I'm not trying to be bad. I need some time. I'm sorry I did what I did. I know that my brain kind of sends me to do impulsive acts, but I'm pretty smart about trying to backtrack and changing that. So please give me some time. All those self-advocacy pieces are going to be embedded into this profile as you dialogue with your child. You are bonding, you're working together with the child. So we also talk about use the opportunity to demystify. Demystify means the child's needs. There shouldn't be a mystery about who you are, how your brain operates, what's going on. You should know. How many of us, I'm just going to tell you right now, how many years did I struggle not knowing what my emotions were? I'm 64. I probably struggled 50 some odd years, not recognizing what my emotions were. Why did I feel that way? What's going on with me? Why am I waking up kind of sad today? I have learned through research and trial and error and life what it all means. We want to help our children right now to demystify that they're ADHD or they're coexisting conditions, ADHD with autism, ADHD with Tourette syndrome, whatever it may be. And often ADHD is coexisting with many other challenges. We call them disorders. I don't like the word disorder. Dis means to imply that there is a problem, a dis. It's not good, it's bad. There is nothing bad about our children, absolutely nothing. So we demystify the child. We say, well, what do you think about your ADHD? Do you ever feel like sometimes you just get confused? Do you feel all these things coming at them? And does it make you frustrated and angry? You're going to work with your child. And this is an incredible moment to bond with your child and say, you know, I don't think there are enough words for me as your mom or dad, or me as your caregiver, or me as your grandparent to tell you how grateful I am for you and that I feel you have been wonderfully created. This is huge for these children. They are constantly met with negativity in society, in school, wherever they go. You have got to be their anchor that says, no, you're wonderful. Yes, it's hard. Life is hard. We're going to do this profile. We're going to talk about you. It's all about you. I love you. We're going to help you figure it out. So the other thing too is to research together successful people who have similar needs. For example, what's his name that just went to space? Oh, thank you, Cheryl, for sharing that. And he can't memorize. I can tell you about that later. If I get time at the end, I will tell you about what that is. That's anxiety interfering with short-term memory and long-term memory. Okay. What Charles Branson, is that the one that went to space? It just one of the other, it was Elon Musk, and what was the other one? Yeah. Wayne, who's the other guy that went to space? Elon Musk and who else?
Richard Branson.
Who? Sorry, I'm asking my.
Richard Branson.
Richard Branson. Richard Branson has continuously promoted the fact that he has ADHD, and he has said for years that, yes, thank you. Thank you, Cheryl. Richard.
Elon Musk has Asperger's.
Elon Musk has Asperger's, but Richard has continually expressed his ADHD. And he has said, if you saw him when they landed back to Earth and they went into outer space, and he said, I am here to show other kids like me what you can do. We have to, my goal is to change the educators too, to see what we can do. And this one-page profile is focused only on the positive. All right, now let's get over to empowering the child. So reviewing your child's IEP. Those of you that have one in front of you, look for the accommodations page. You flip through, you find the accommodations page. If you ever need me to do a full-on IEP 504 presentation, I will do that for you. But let me tell you what's going on in the IEP. That is the education law, stronger law for education. But the IEP will detail your IQ and achievement, what you can do cognitively, that's the IQ, and your achievement is what's your output. If there's something skewed, we need to know. We need to know what's skewed, what's going on between the two assessment tools. That's another session. But you pull out this the IEP and you go through it with your child. It has scores that show what your child's IQ is, and those are standardized, and it has scores that show what your child's achievement is. One is what you should do, one is the output. And we need to know if your IQ shows one thing, your output's lower. We need to know why, and we need to beef up your education plan. That's a whole nother thing. But in that IEP, you're also going to see a page that says accommodation. And typically schools just do the standard protocol, preferential seating, repeated review, check for understanding, chunking, extended time. Some of those accommodations may not be what your child really needs, and your child may not know they even have them. So if we're going through and creating this one-page profile to start the beginning of the school year, we're going to say to you're going to say to your child, let's look at your accommodations. Do these make sense to you? Will they help you? And what do they mean? You can Google accommodations. They'll tell you what they mean. It's right there at your fingertips. And so you'll say, well, what do they mean? So William, do these things help you? And William may say, yeah, some of these really do. But you know what? I really need something else. And it's this. Okay, put it on the one-page profile. Who should be doing the typing? You do this electronically. If your child's old enough to enter the data or the information, let them do it. Don't do it for them. Will it take more time? Yes. But your child needs to feel they accomplished this, not you. They accomplished. This is their work, they're doing. They need to praise themselves because they can do this. All right. Then you discuss, like I said, what other support is needed in the child's words. They add that to the one-page profile. A very critical piece is to list the child's strengths and positive attributes. On the links I've given you, many of them say, and like I showed you on the initial where she says what doesn't work. We don't want to hear that. The child doesn't need to hear that. The child needs to, there's so much research on teaching the child what they can do that embeds in their brain, especially when they see it visually. And if they're typing it in and it says, I can do this, that child's going to remember it. They are talking about what they can do. They need to hear more of what they can do. This has to be all positive based. So positive attributes. I'm friendly. I care about others. Those are important. That's social emotional learning. I make mistakes, but I try hard to recover. I want to listen. I want to listen. Think about that. It's hard for me to listen, but I want to listen. I may ask you to repeat something for me. They need to learn to say that that's okay. It's all right to ask all these questions and list their strengths and attributes. This is about what they can do. This is not about what they can't do. And we'll get into how we inform the educator who's reading it, you know, what's gonna, and then right here, what works best, how I stay regulated. I do a whole nother training on that is the sensory systems and central nervous system and limbic system, how you stay regulated. What do I need? I may need breaks. And then should it be that the teacher is initiating a break? Sometimes teachers have to. We'll know when kids are really stressing and we can say, go ahead and take a break. It's a whole protocol. But the other thing is that we want to teach the child, if it's straight ADHD, when you're feeling anxious, your feet start swinging and you're moving a lot, you need a break. And you should be able to get up, take a walk, go get a drink of water. Lots of research behind taking a drink of water. Lots of research behind movement to get back to being regulated. So this is where the student might say how I need to stay regulated. I need to get up and move for a minute. And at that point, I need to take breaks, movement, kindness, understanding. What we do is, the teacher should do, is teach the child how to use a timer to help the child take those breaks. Yeah, thank you, Karsten. I see you. You're right. It is about what's going on instead of what's wrong. Exactly. So we need to teach the individual to use a timer. And I have used these stand timers for 3 minutes. And so they're learning to regulate. They're going to be an adult one day. And they need to have these tools for when they reach that point. This is critically important. I should not be in saying, you need to take a break, go take a break. Well, I should be saying, William, how are you feeling? I notice your feet are swinging. You doing okay? William says, yeah, but and you see William doing the eye move, rolling the hair in the eyes. The symptoms of I'm exhausted, I'm overwhelmed. And you can kindly say, it's okay, go take a break. Use the timer. Timers I have are 3 minutes, but if you need 6 minutes, flip it over. It's okay. Everybody needs a break. I'm married. I need a break. But I'm so glad he was here when I needed Richard Branson's name. List what works best, how to stay regulated. We've got that. All right. Let me see if I missed anything because no, I got it all. Okay, we're gonna go to the next slide. Anytime you have questions, you guys just ask. These are suggestions that I think would be beneficial. Encourage your child to make a statement about him or herself, such as a vision statement. There are a few samples on the links that I've given you that have a vision statement. However, some kids are really young and that could be overwhelming. So it's not necessary to make them come up with a vision statement. Or if they have been traumatized by their ADHD or their autism or their coexisting conditions, and many of our children have been, I've worked from every age. I'm 64. I've done this since I was 18. There are many who reach adulthood, myself included, that harbor this. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know I could, whatever. And so with our children, we might say, what do you see for yourself next year? It might be as simple as next year. You do? You think you're going to do? I think that you could do that. What? Do you have a plan for that? They can add that if they'd like to the one-page profile. Remember, this one-page profile is all about positive. It's all about positive, no negative in it at all. Who are you and where are you going? And are you capable of going there? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And the teacher gets this. And I'll promise you, as an educator myself, I love this stuff. I've got tons of stuff to read, and I get this incredible visual with details about an incredible little person. Like when I look back, let me just show you something. I'm just going to tell you. When I look at Felix or Ellie or this guy, because I'm a cat rescue, I'm automatically in love. I don't even know if that's really Felix. I'm just telling you that children inspire us, and we want to bring that out more in them. We don't want to stifle that. There's so much research about this. Okay, so help your child if they feel like they want to make a vision statement. I think next year I will be able to do math better. This year, math is hard for me, but next year I might be able to. I need you to be patient with me. I need visual support. And that's placed in that one-page profile. This is where you're allowing your child to create some of the statements. Do they have to follow a predetermined template? No. What they do have to follow is less is more. So it's more bulleted statements from the child, so the teacher can quickly read it and say, oh, that's what this child needs. This is who this child is. I'll be honest with you, I'm all about sensory systems, and these little paint splotches like this is a little distracting. It's better to have what Ellie has, just boom, boom, boom. This is way too much information. I'm not going to be able to absorb this as an educator who's quickly learning about 25 kids in the classroom. Take away these, put in some of Ellie's things over here, and I'm going to look at Felix and go, oh, I get it. Oh no, this says Harry Smith down here. The other copy I had, it said Felix. So Harry, we'll go with Harry. So that's Harry Smith. These are all on Facebook, you can find it, but I want you to recognize that less is more. I'm the educator. I need to quickly read this. I need it bulleted and I need it to be specific. Then also, together, you and your child could find a fact sheet. Cheryl, I get that, and the teacher would appreciate these. Thank you, Cheryl. Maybe have 25 or fewer students. Do high school teachers who have 60? Oh, high school students who have 7 classes of 30 students also appreciate them. Absolutely, they do. And I taught high school. Absolutely, we do. I want the student to come in and start this dialogue with me, whether it's visual or whatever. I know who I am. I know what I need. Oh, and I'm talking about an 18, 17, 16-year-old person. I get it. Okay, if I don't give you what you need, James, remind me again, because I've got a lot of students. I've got 100 and some odd people on my rosters total I have to do grades for, but I am so thankful you have come to me or you have given me this profile. If I forget something, do not be fearful to come to me. The one thing teachers have to do is create trust, a safe environment and trust, so that the child will feel free to go up to the teacher. To me, that's the most critical piece. I can't encourage educators to always develop that safe environment and trust with their students. By design, teachers are very formula driven. That's why STAR, and it used to be TAX, has taken hold, because it is a teach, test, very formulated. Boom, 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 boom. Well, the research states that that's not always the best thing. I can't fix that. So, but I can tell you that at any age, a student that comes up and has a one-page profile, or at least dialogues with the educator, hey, can I have 2 minutes of your time? This is self-advocacy, hardest thing to do. I taught my children early on. It's so hard. It worked with one and it did not work with the other. In fact, the other was actually abused by her coach. I can't go into that. And I did not know it till a half a year later, because she was too afraid to tell me. She did not self-advocate. The youngest with dyslexia self-advocated. She was, I think, first grade or second grade in swim lessons indoor for the winter. And she could not understand what the coach was telling her while she was in the water. And I remember her being in this little green bathing suit, and she jumped out of the water and she yanked on the coach's shorts and she said, hey, I have dyslexia and I have no idea what you said. Can you please tell me that? And I was like, oh, thank you, God. She knows what to say. But it didn't work for the other. I can't tell you and promise you that everything will work out perfectly. We know that as parents. So anyway, look together for fact sheets about your child's challenges. And I don't want to call them problems. or brokenness or whatever. It's a challenge. Everybody has a challenge. Everyone on attending this session has a challenge. It's okay to have a challenge. It's even better when you recognize a challenge. And then you say, okay, I'm going to try to look at it and figure out what my challenges are and come up with a plan, which is listed on the one-page profile. So you can attach a fact sheet to this one-page profile. So when Jordan was young, she went into 3rd grade. I'm going to tell you where I was. We were at Millsap Elementary in Cy-Fair. Amazing teacher, Carmela Simmons. I hope to God her ears are ringing. I gave a fact sheet to Carmela and explained to her what Jordan has. Jordan already knew. Jordan was fine with talking about it. No problem. She wasn't embarrassed. Walt Disney had dyslexia. I'm okay. That's demystifying. And when I gave Carmela the information about dyslexia, Carmela had homeschooled her oldest daughter for quite some time because she couldn't learn to read. She goes, oh my God, this is my Layla. Layla can't read. This is her. So Carmela got Layla intervention. Layla is a teacher today in Spring Branch ISD, and she is probably, I'm going to say a bad word, a kick-ass teacher because she experienced challenges that she had to overcome. And it made her a stronger individual. It made her a better teacher. I can't imagine how many lives she's already started changing. So Layla's in her 30s now, but anyway, I just had to share that with you. I just feel like being open is the best thing. And that one-page profile is an openness and open to dialogue and open to understanding who I am and how I operate. And don't beat me up because I did not get something right. And don't beat me up because I fell out of my chair. And don't beat me up because I couldn't start my assignment. It's neurologically based. If I had a switch to turn off my ADHD, I would turn that switch off, but we don't. So for the parent or the caregiver, whoever you are in here, one of the things I think is really important to understand is that if we get caught up in what we think our kids can't do, that's normal because we love them so dearly. We do. They're the breath of our life. And we keep thinking, oh my God, they're not doing this, they're not doing that. You'll see on my reference page that I think you really should look at taking a course through the person-centered planning with Laura Buckner, if she's still doing it. But anyway, one of the things to do is stop thinking about what your child cannot do and start thinking about what your child can do. And so start to create your own private list. William did this today. Even if you don't go and write in it every day, that doesn't matter. Do it when you can. Think back in time. Wow, William really did this and this happened. I'm going to write this down on this list. Keep that list going. Add to it through the years. And when William becomes an adult, give that list to William. Showing him or Wilhelmina or her all the belief you've always had in your child. Your child will hang on to that list for as long as they live, and knowing that somebody was always in their corner. This is so necessary for the children to understand that with all their challenges, not due to their own choice. There's a whole nother session I could do on the sensory and the central, and that tells you a lot of why that happens. But just know that on the surface level, the more positive strokes we give these children, the better they're going to do. Now, will you meet a teacher that does not understand this and get it? Yes. Yes. Yes, you should, Caroline, include the clinical diagnosis and medical on the one page. I think I might have missed that. But you can also show some of this list, not like type it out. This is what to the teacher. This is what I saw William or Wilhelmina do today. You know, kind of keeping that positive going. Where did I have that where it says that you should put the medical? Hang on. I know I had it on here. But regardless,
There it is, Robin. I saw it on there.
which one?
There was a nut. Let's see. There was one before it. Well, I saw it once. It is on.
I did. It's on here somewhere.
Medication. It's there.
It is. You really should, and you should tell your child.
There
what
it
that
is. There it is.
There it is. Okay, thank you.
Medical, diet, etc.
Right, right. Can't have dyes. Can't have whatever. You know, whatever. So absolutely, Caroline, you need to have that on there, and then you need to also share that with your child. So here's what's happening while you're doing this one-page profile. You're sitting with your child, and if it takes a day or two, don't rush it. Let it be a moment of bonding and love, and letting that child feel like, you know, and you share, mom has this or dad had that, or, you know, I look at our family and, you know, Jordan has the dyslexia. My brother has dyslexia significantly. My uncle had it significantly, made tons of money doing horse races. Okay, great. More money than I'll ever make back in the day. But it doesn't define the person. It's knowledge to know how the person learns. And we have to help. Educators are under a lot of pressure. I'm an educator. We are under a tremendous amount of pressure. We need to be able to say, I did as much as I could for that child, and I love that child, and that child has XYZ, and I cannot believe the effort. I've always believed in praising the effort this child put forth today. And prayerfully, hopefully, this educator will look at that child and say, William and Wilhelmina, I am just overwhelmed with what effort you put out today. And I know that your brain kind of distracts you, but you've worked so hard at that. I'm so excited. So when I went into, I've only been on ADHD medication for a year. I'm just turning 64. It's the first time I decided I needed to try it. It was unbelievable for me. I'm a low dose. But what I did was I told my doctor, it's like a mouse, you know, your mouse on the screen. I put my cursor where it should be. You know, have you ever had sometimes where you're trying to get your mouse to go on a certain spot and it won't go? It's like floating around, and you finally get it on that spot it should be, and then it floats away. That's ADHD. That's me. I am working my butt off to get my brain to focus, and it won't focus. I started taking a generic of Strattera, the lowest dose. I'm stunned. 64 years old, and I finally figured this out. Should have had a V8. Anyway, open for questions now. I want to make sure that we, you know, have given you something that's important. You have your child's IEP in front of you. Do you need to know where that accommodations page is? Does anybody have those kind of questions? Like, where do I find this thing? And where do I find that thing? And if you know where it is, your child should know it too. And that child should be able to say in the classroom, when the teacher doesn't do XYZ of the accommodation, should be able to say, respectfully, and teach that skill. William and Wilhelmina, you have a right to say, I have repeated review or extended time. I didn't get extended time. Will they sometimes meet a teacher that doesn't really want to take time for that, or feels they don't have time for that? Okay. There are all kinds of people in the world. I'm not going to bash an educator. I don't agree with all educators, but I'm not here to bash. So, and there's going to be some of those educators say, no, I've given you enough time. You had enough of you. I saw you were staring off space. You were not doing, I gave you all the opportunity. That's where the fact sheet will help. Hopefully. Now, your child's not going to say, well, Miss Teacher, did you read the fact sheet I gave you? If you didn't read that, then you do not know me. You hope that they could say something like that. So when Jordan was young, well, she was in high school. She was supposed to do a paper, and I let my children make mistakes. She had to make, I cannot sweep up your mistakes. You have to learn how to resolve your own issues that you got yourself into. But then at the same time, I did not criticize her for the mistakes. So at one point I found out that there was a paper that she was due and she didn't do it. And I said, Jordan, you got an F. I think we had the portal, the student portal I could look in. I said, you got an incomplete or an F or whatever it was. She said, I know. It was a pretty day out and I decided to ride my bike and not do my work. Okay, you got the grade, whatever you want to do. She wrote, I didn't know she was doing this. She wrote a letter to the teacher. She emailed it. This is now she's in high school, so she's learned self-advocacy. She's learned that I'm not going to sweep her mistakes. And she wrote a letter to an email to the teacher, said, I apologize, I did not do my work, but it was a pretty day out and I decided to do a bike ride. So I understand, I just want you to know. And the teacher emailed me because I was a teacher in the district at the same time. And she said, Robin, I can't believe I've never had a student do this. And I said, well, welcome to Jordan world. And I said, you know, whatever grade she gets is what she gets. And she told you honestly that she rode her bike instead. And so she turned in, I think, you know, half done paper. And I think she got like the minimal credit, maybe 50% or something. She shouldn't have gotten anything, actually, to be honest with you. She made the choice. Anyway, it was just one of the funniest. We still have the email that the teacher sent, and we still have the email that she sent because it's hilarious. I decided to do, she should be able to speak up. That's an ADHD brain. I decided to, you know, so anyway, please, any questions? Okay, my child's first grade teacher last year actually requested these for all her students. The one-page profile. Thank you, Nicole. It is so supportive of me trying to learn about your precious child. Okay, anything else you have questions about? No? Okay, I wanted to share real quick a little bit about what I do. It's been a busy few years, and Pam's going to share about Ada. I've been connected with Ada. I think in 2011, Pam and I, when I opened my store, Pam and I met. I've been the luckiest person to be connected. I recently opened a new division of Lighthouse. Lighthouse does consulting, I do consulting, but I've realized over time that children with ADHD, autism, neurological differences, educators aren't getting the right information. So I thought, why do I have all this knowledge in my head and how do I share it? So I created, it's called, I don't like this tagline, but or the part of it, but it's Senso Science. I like that. But my Shopify.com means I want you to go shop. I don't want you to go shop. I don't need you to go shop. I want you to go look at it because what it does is provide to you details about how to use certain products or what's going on neurologically. And I'm going to continually add to it. I've only started that like the last 2 months and I haven't had many hits. That's fine. I'm not worried about it. It's going to get out there on its own time frame. But my Shopify, anyway, someone, a publishing or a marketing company said I needed to be on my Shopify. Anyway, I'm not worried about purchasing. It's Senso Science. It's about the brain. It tells you what you should do, how to demystify, how to role play. How do you help your child? The other thing is we have a lot of children with anxiety, a calming kit. The calming kit comes with certain sensory products. It's in a clear baggie because schools need to see what you've got. And the calming kit tells you about your brain, what's going on, the amygdalas, and how our brain becomes, the amygdalas actually swell when they're anxious. It's crazy stuff, amazing stuff. I have an employment kit for adults. I worked at Monarch for 5 years as the employment director. came in with a very low, like 1.5% employment rate. And by the time I left in 2013, we had anywhere up to 46 to 52% employment rate, because I embedded sensory in the employment workplace. How do you know what's going on in your brain? How do you help yourself regulate? What are the tools you need? What are the strategies? The employment kit comes with the strategies and the tools. And then the officer's kit is starting to get into hopefully a local area. I can't say, they might be ordering 170 kit, where officers will carry this in their patrol car. And when they meet someone with a neurological difference, instead of coming off really strong and aggressive, hopefully they'll have the wherewithal to use these products to say, here, hold on to this while you regulate. Oh my gosh, the kitty. Wait, who is that with the kitty? Wait a minute. I have 14 rescue cats.
Go somewhere?
That's awesome. Oh, I'll put my email in there, Pam. Okay. So anyway, hi, kitty. So the officer's kit helps individuals with neurological challenges. They approach them. Don't create. The tagline for the officer's kit is life before all else. We've got to stop criminalizing behavior. The other is the kit and caboodle. Whoops, let your kid doodle. It's a pre-writing thing, and it comes with a whole, everything comes with the protocol. Okay, that's enough of that. Pam, now your turn.
I was just telling everybody, I had asked Tyler, and he said that we aren't going to have emails. So if you want the slides from her PowerPoint or the recording, please put your thing in chat, because then I'll make sure tomorrow I'll have that information, and then I'll be able to get it out. I know it's a pain. We always find that a lot of times people do check in at the last minute, so we hate to ask for reservations, but I think we may have to start doing that just so that logically we have something from everybody to send to. I did talk a little bit earlier about the things we have coming up, and one of the things we're excited about, Caroline Hassel is on here, and Caroline is taking over our newsletter. So we're going to have a new and very different newsletter. And we are also changing a lot of things and adding new things for our members. Membership is $40 a year for families and educators, $60 a year for mental health professionals. You do get a discount on almost all of your events, so it pays for itself pretty quickly. We're going to be doing In the Know, which are little tidbits and links to a variety of articles in different places. And we are going to start a YouTube library. So on the free support group meetings, they're going to be available on our website. And then the other thing that we will be adding at some point are some of the other articles and things to go to members when we have, and we're trying to keep things short and sweet. So, but we do appreciate original articles from educators and, like I said, therapists, MDs, etc. So please consider membership. It is part of how we function and how we keep rolling. Also, if you are not familiar with Chris Dendy, she is a very well-known author, speaker, and it's chrisdendy.com. She has a variety of books, and the new one coming out is sort of addressing key transitions, teens into young adulthood. But it's certainly very important. I recommend even people with kids in elementary school pay attention so you know what's going to be happening and you're better prepared. So please stay tuned for those details. We ask that you please share it with others as well. Please let your teachers, counselors, churches, whoever know about ADA. And we are really glad everybody could come tonight. If you have any questions, please remember that we're a resource. We do have a professional advisory council, and we do have a speakers bureau, so we can certainly ask the professionals if there's something that is of interest, and it's not particularly in our arena to answer. And we do try to keep a big list of other options, other places and organizations. And we are also starting a resource directory that will be online in the next few months. And it will be where professionals can pay a fee and then have their information on there. So a lot of times then you're not going to have to call us or ask somebody. We're hoping that more and more will choose to be listed on there to make it easier for all of you. So thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. Stay tuned for what's coming up in September. And I hope everybody has a good start to the school year. As stressful as I know as it's going to be with COVID and everything else, it's still always exciting to start a new school year. I was one of those kids that always loved school and loved school supplies, and it didn't get passed on down to my sons. So I'm excited about the school start. So if you have any questions, feel free to email or call me. And any other last minute questions, anything else?
Just, yeah, and listen, if you guys have any questions, just email me, no problem.
All right. Well, thank you very much for attending and hope everybody has a nice evening, and we hope to see you next time. Thank you.
All right, take good care, you guys. Good luck.